Can I side rail this conversation?
Sure.
Do you think a lack of confidence is something that's worth sympathy?
Yes.
Okay. This whole idea came about from Hard Work, right?
Yeah.
The Feel Good series, about us encouraging people to put in the work, just no matter what. And I'm glad you brought up persistence, because you say it's a very rare attribute. I couldn't agree more. So I want to get your thoughts on quiet quitting.
Yeah. I've adapted my thoughts to it, and I see and that's more me trying to understand the thoughts behind it, right? Yeah. And I'll come to that in a moment. But yeah, overall bad.
Okay. Cool.
Overall, a very negative thing to be happening.
Yeah.
It's very disappointing to see it's happening.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to understand where it's come from.
What have you learned doing that? Like exploring it from somebody else's perspective?
Not everyone's an entrepreneur or is part of a business or a startup, or has had the blessing of being part of that kind of culture. Yeah. Which makes me see a bigger picture of, some people unfortunately, had to go straight into work or for, gone into a job that they've not always enjoyed for life reasons, support a family, support, care for someone, whatever it is. Yeah. So you start to look at that and you understand why someone's gone into something they don't enjoy. Yeah. They may also lack confidence and skills that they were never taught or shown that they ever had that power.
Can I side rail this conversation?
Sure.
Do you think a lack of confidence is something that's worth sympathy?
Yes.
Okay.
We've all been in a position in our lives, even the most confident of confident people, where we've not been confident. Okay. And it's taken a moment. It's taken sometimes seeing someone else confident to understand that you could be that. And I'm more empathetic to the fact that not everyone has experienced what we have. Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I'm again, that's something I'm trying to do more of. Yeah.
There's a lot of compassion in that answer.
Yeah. I think I'm starting to become more compassionate than I was before.
Thank God, man. You're so cold.
so cold. No, I'm just trying to see a little bit more behind it. But on the same token, the reason I do that is to understand how to address it in a better manner. So let's go to your quiet quitting example. Originally, I have some friends that were probably not on the extreme side of quiet quitting, but they were talking in the same tone of, I do the bare minimum, what's the point? And I started to think my answers or my questions as to why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? You don't get it. Yeah. They weren't kind of improving that behavior, or they weren't, and it was like, I wasn't really getting very far with it because it was like, shut up. Like, yeah, you do your own thing.
You're wrong, I'm right.
Yeah, of course you're going to enjoy what you do. It's not easy for everyone else, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I'm going to carry on with it. And I wanted to understand is, what are they going through? It's not the fact that they enjoy quiet quitting. No one does, right? They want a pay rise or they want the better work treatment or whatever. And by the compassion, I think then you're able to articulate improvements in their lives better. But I'm still working through that. Yeah. How about you? What do you think of quiet quitting?
You've just changed my opinion, I think, of it. Okay. I lacked compassion in that department when it comes to quiet quitting. But I also, at its root, I always really believed that it would hurt the employees more than it would hurt the employers. Yeah. Because quiet quitting is doing the bare minimum and getting away with that. But the problem is you're still doing the bare minimum. Right. Which means, every employer, every good employer will have protections in place. If you dip below that threshold, they'll have some way of removing you from the business. Sure. If you stay within that level, then fine. The business is happy. They are exchanging your service for money. That's a transaction. Everybody's ultimately quite happy, apart from the employee who's like, I'll show them. But you're not. Well, in actual fact, also, you're restricting two things. One, your ability to grow within the business. But all that goes to hell when you don't care about being in that business. Right. But it restricts your ability to learn core skills that you can take to the next place. Right? If somebody's unhappy in a job, but they're still doing it to the best of their ability, when the right opportunity presents itself to them far more than somebody who's quiet quitting.
Sure.
Having said that, what you just told me about, seeing more compassion, I've been in a job where I feel stuck. And I didn't drag myself out of the rut. In fact, if I really think about it, maybe I did some version of quiet quitting. We didn't have a term for it back then.
Yeah.
Way back in 2019.
You're a hipster when it comes to quiet quitting.
Oh, yeah. I did it before. It was cool. But yeah, I've been in that position, and the only difference was I think I knew the protections that were in place for both the employee and employer.
Sure.
So I pushed some boundaries, and I was, in hindsight, I kind of regret how I acted in that. I kind of don't. I learned a lot. That's not how you sort of behave if you want to advance your career. But
okay, so speaking to Sam of then,
yeah,
how would you address it with the compassion that we're talking about?
Yeah,
so that he would see the bigger picture.
I'd say, where do you see this line of thought and this line of effort exerted? Like, where do you see this going? Right, because you're not putting in the effort to move yourself beyond.
Yep.
You're not really actively looking for another job. You've identified a problem and you've not done anything.
Sure.
Like, you're patting yourself on the back because you're like, I've identified a problem, so now I'm not going to do anything about it.
Right.
That's it. The train stops here. That's all I've done.
Are you going to stay in this job for 20 years?
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, that's a huge